Hi everyone, I hope you all. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin once again. Thank you for support. Okay, big little CoinsKid crew. So right now, Bitcoin, if we're not careful here and we don't create this beautiful double bottom structure or this kind of reversal pattern just there for Bitcoin, there is a potential that we may capitulate here for Bitcoin. Okay, and a precursor to that on the weekly time frame especially is if you create the death cross. Okay, where the 20 crosses a 55, it's usually followed by capitulation. You got it just there, capitulation. We take a look at the previous market just there. As you start to roll under the 20 and the 55, you got your death cross just there, your capitulation event just there for Bitcoin as well. So historically, that's what happens. We've not formed it just yet, but we are on the cusp of it. So it's something that we do need to keep an eye on. Structurally for Bitcoin at the moment, price-wise, it looks relatively okay because we're holding these lows. We've got this low here, which is a really, really important low for Bitcoin. You lose that low, you're creating your death cross, which is the precursor to capitulation. Okay, so where could Bitcoin capitulate? And I've gone through this with you. Okay, if you start to close below the monthly 20, which is currently at 37320, then I would imagine you're given the precursor to capitulation, and 55 EMA on the monthly time frame would actually be my target, basically, because you can see whenever we capitulate, it's always an amazing entry point. I don't think quite on this chart, but you can see this EMA was coming around like that, and that was an amazing level of support. You can actually see it on another chart. So we've got three instances there of the weekly death cross shows capitulation, and the monthly losing the 20 shows capitulation down to the 55. Okay, now the 55 currently sits at 22949, so that is actually moving up with the price, and it will actually be drawn to it as it comes down. So you're probably looking at around about 23k Bitcoin price tag capitulation event right there. It could even fall through that. That's my minimal target if we capitulate. Now, what could actually drive capitulation? Well, there's numerous things, isn't there? Obviously, if you do start to lose this low just here, because structurally at the moment, what you're doing for Bitcoin, even though the market's not healthy and looking good and everyone's really bearish and there's a lot of negativity and people are scared and depressed and things like that, at the minute, Bitcoin has come up impulsively here and you're retracing to this low. So this is actually quite healthy for Bitcoin to do this. It's until it loses this low, then yes, okay, you might start to capitulate here for Bitcoin. So this is what I always say to you. You drop your fibs in, just to let me show you. You retrace into this low, and you can see right now, I think yesterday we actually bounced off the golden ratio. We lost the golden ratio, and today we've actually bounced off to 702 just there in this retracement. So we've come up impulsively, and right now we're correcting down to this low. If we do start to lose this low, you can see you've got a continuation of this downtrend. You've got this sort of little fake out just there into resistance, and at that point, you start to roll, you're continuing with this downtrend. Okay, do you see that? You're continuing the downtrend, and these targets would be my targets moving forward. But the fact that we lose this low, could that spell a capitulation event? Because if you start to lose that low, what are you doing? On the monthly, you're closing below the 20. Okay, so that would sort of be programmed into the code that you're coming down to the 55, and that might be that capitulation event that everyone's sort of anticipating and expecting for Bitcoin. But there's always the other thing, isn't there? Everyone's expecting it, so does it mean it's 100% going to happen? Because at the moment, as scary and depressing as the markets are, it's not happened yet. Okay, it potentially can happen, but so could this. You could hold this low right now, which is still a higher low and a higher high structure. Okay, on the monthly, you've just come down to the monthly 20. You hold this twice, close above it, start to come back up. All this fear and shakeout was opportunity. Okay, so this is what I mean. You always act on the statement of what the price action tells you, and at the moment the price action is holding the 20. You close below the 20, like I said to you, then you've got a target in front of you, which is a 55. But for me to give you that target right now, saying with a certainty, is the zero certainty of it. Do you understand? The certainty is you're holding the 20. You're holding structural support. You've come up, you've got overextended, you've gone sideways, you're getting your touch off the 20 on the monthly. You're holding it at the moment, so the bias is towards holding it because that's what you're doing, and it's starting to retrace to the high. Okay, so if you do start to lose a 20 and close below that 20, which is currently at, 37321. It's fluctuating around about there. I'll show you on the last day of February anyway. If we do start to close below that, then even if you do your sort of dead cat bounce scenario like we did there in that previous correction, and boom, it's almost programmed. Every historical data shows us that whenever Bitcoin closes on below the 20 on the monthly, you come down to the 55, and there's no getting away from it. So that could actually be that sort of kind of capitulation event for Bitcoin if it happens, okay? And it would be an amazing little entry point, okay? If it starts to roll through that, as I've gone through with you many times before, if you start to hit your head, then that for me is I'm out of Bitcoin, because it's doing something that structurally it's never ever done in the history of Bitcoin. It's never lost a monthly 55, and that would spell a monthly downtrend for Bitcoin, and that could spell not just a year bear market. It could be spelling a multi-year bear market, a decade-long bear market for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin wouldn't look attractive at that point because you're losing structure. Basically, you're potentially coming down, losing these lows. You get caught into that 55. You're in a downtrend on any time frame. I've told you that. Okay, so right now, if we take a look at the weekly, like I said to you, a precursor to that. I know this seems a bit bearish because at the minute, we've got this kind of structure on the go here. Potentially, you've got this kind of ascending triangle we're looking at the moment under the EMAs. And we hold this, coiling up like this over the next couple of weeks leading into March, and we prevent this death cross and we get this sort of EMA repel. This was basically a bear trap and a fake out. And you basically what you've got here is some kind of ABC correction. So you've got 3 waves down. Look, 1, 2, 3. ABC holding the lows, structural reversal wave, start to come back up and attack these highs. And it's at this point here, if we do hold these lows right now, this low, it's all about this low, okay? Forget about that low. It's all about this low. This is your most important low right now, and I'm looking at the same low on XRP as well. Now, if Bitcoin holds this low and starts to come back up, all you've done is retrace to it, nominal retracement, form a reversal pattern, okay? Start to come back up above the weekly, attack that high, boom, you're out of here. And I do think at that point, that could be a really, really good ignition switch moving into March and for the remainder of the year where Bitcoin could actually really, really go some. And this was still just a corrective phase after, okay, let me show you, after 5 impulsive moves up, because this is your low, that's your 1, that's your 2, that's your 3, that's your 4, that's your 5. And then you've got an ABC correction coming down to this low, which you've held, and you're looking to impulsively break out, okay? So you've got a leg up, a leg down, a leg up, a leg down, whatever. Who knows? So that's a potential play. And like I said to you, it's all probabilities, isn't it? But at the minute, we can't deny the fact that we are under the 55 EMA here on the weekly. So this is not good. Because like I said to you, if you're consistently using that as resistance, you're going to roll basically. And this is where you might have that capitulation event for Bitcoin coming down. And if it does happen, we start to sweep them lows. I'll give you your targets going forward, okay? And this wasn't an ABC. This was a 5-wave impulsive move down. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wherever that takes us to. So that's basically Bitcoin. I wish I could conclusively say to you, Bitcoin's going to hold this, it's going to break out this ascending triangle, and we're going to come up the stairs, but it's not doing it yet. Okay, but we are creating a high-low structure at the moment, and on the monthly, we are actually holding the 20 EMA. Now, if we do start to close below that, at the end of the month, which is in 6 days, 11 hours time, 6.5 days time, if we close below that, then it's programmed in and we've got the capitulation and we are coming down and we're not holding these lows and we're going to start to come up eventually at some point, okay? Because right now, for example, if we do come down to that 55, okay, let's drop the fibs on. I can show you your next targets would be the 1618 at 135, you got the 2 at 212, sorry, and you got a 2.272 at 287. Now, in the previous correction here, I was dropping my fibs on and none of you would have believed me in that. Okay, but we had that capitulation event just there, down to there. This is a monthly time frame off this low just there, okay? Capitulated, and I would have been giving you all these targets, and no one would have believed me. I would have said you're looking at the 1618 minimal, potential 2, and the potential 2.272. And like I said to you, the greater you retrace, the greater the impulsive pace. So if Bitcoin does capitulate here, and starts to come back up, it's an amazing entry point, isn't it? Again, nothing to say is financial advice. Everything is for educational entertainment purposes only. But if we do start to lose this low just there that we've put in, okay, and we do start to roll again and lose the monthly 20, then my target would be the 1414 just there at 2.3 and the 55 EMA at 23550 at a bare minimal. Okay, for Bitcoin. That's basically Bitcoin. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Take care, everyone, and thank you for your support. Bye bye.